Hello everybody, it's Starrapter here. I'm so glad you could join me for another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon. Every week on this channel you can expect me to talk about the comics, the novels, the TV series, the video games, and anything else that ties back into Star Wars. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't fall behind on any of it. This week we have two new comics I want to talk about. So from Marvel we have Star Wars Poe Dameron, issue number 23. This is part 4 of the Legend Found arc, and this continues the journey of Poe trying to track down Lor San Tekka. And when they finally think they have him, they find him on Cato Nemoidia. Agent Terex actually hijacks the ship and leaves Poe Dameron on the planet along with General Leia and the other Resistance agents. And we have Commander Milars, who actually commandeers Poe's ship. So Poe is forced to find another ship to try to take out Commander Milars, but unfortunately, Agent Terex gets away. Okay, so talking about Poe Dameron, issue number 23, the first thing I want to mention is Poe Dameron's flying skills. He pulls it off again. He's not even used to the ship that he has to use to track down Black One, which is his X-Wing, and he still manages to fly this really old, what looks to be V-Wing, so that's really cool there. Another thing I enjoyed about this issue is Agent Terex. You know, he's been the villain this entire run of this series, and at one point, well, he still has those implants that Captain Phasma has given him, and he's been very subservient to Milars and Phasma up until this point where he's actually getting some of his independence back by actually having to shock himself, and he even makes a deal with Phasma at the end of this, which really shows that, he's starting to grow back some kind of inner strength to really fight against this implant, and he's becoming more interesting again. But one thing I did want to point out, which I didn't really enjoy, is the whole Commander Milars going Hulk mode with this thing she injects in her eye. She did it once before, I believe, and she does it here again, and it is able to have her fly better with the 0Gs, at least that's what Poe Dameron says. But it just, it's just like something from like your normal Marvel kind of comic, which it just, it just doesn't seem like it really fits all that well with this. But that was what I thought about issue number 23 of Poe Dameron. However, there's one thing that came out this week which I want to talk about in the news. So we had the April solicitations for Poe Dameron, and that is going to be issue number 26. And in that description, it does say that we are actually going to start bridging into The Force Awakens, because it does say in the description that you will actually experience the untold adventures and storyline of Poe Dameron, which is very interesting because if you played the Lego game, if you've read the Force Awakens novelization, you know that they actually explained what happened to Poe Dameron after he crashed his TIE fighter with Finn in there. Finn tries to find him and he's nowhere to be found, and he shows up on the car, so we're probably going to get that kind of storyline. And what excites me even more is now that they're going to The Force Awakens, we know The Last Jedi is, butted up right against that. So does that mean that we're eventually going to get into a Last Jedi and then go post Last Jedi and have this as the first, canonical entry in Star Wars to actually start bridging the gap between episode 8 and episode 9? Because I speculate there's going to be at least a couple year gap, so it'll be great to have some kind of story in between 8 and 9 to hold us over. But if that's the case, we probably wouldn't see this until like at least the Last Jedi content and until months down the road, because they still have to get all the way through The Force Awakens with one issue on average a month. It's going to take a while, but it's very promising for the Poe Dameron series. I'm very excited to see what we're going to get next. And the next comic I want to talk about that came out this week is put out by IDW. This is Forces of Destiny, Ahsoka and Padme. All month long, IDW has been putting out these self-contained stories that focus on the female characters of the Star Wars universe from all of the different eras. So this one is actually based off of one of the TV episodes of Forces of Destiny called The Imposter Inside, but it actually gives us a bit more of a backstory before going into those events. So we open up with Barriss Offee training against Ahsoka, and you really see the differences in training and what's going through Ahsoka's mind. And then we actually follow up with Ahsoka having to be on the security detail for Padme's gathering, which is going to be very important. So she's going to try to make sure this place is secure. But next thing you know, we have a changeling that impersonates a handmaiden and tries to assassinate Padme, and luckily Ahsoka's there to fend off that villain. So getting into the things I liked about this comic issue was, first off, the consistency between the TV episode as well as the comics, both with the dialogue and with the artwork, so it's very well done. And I also did like the mention of the Jedi talking about their lightsaber forms with Ahsoka and with Barriss Offee. They're talking about, oh, you should use Form 6 instead of Form 5. Now, if you guys read a lot of Legends, there is a lot of information about the different forms, and if you've played like Star Wars The Old Republic, they have the Ceresu form and all these other kind of forms, so I really geek out when they give us more information like that. But pretty much if you've watched the TV episode, then you've kind of already experienced this comic in a way. So, I mean, it's Forces of Destiny, so it's aimed for the younger audience, but it's still entertaining. Don't expect this thing to reveal anything crazy. So next week we have a couple comics to look forward to. We have DJ Most Wanted #1 coming out. We have Dr. Aphra #16, as well as the last issue of Forces of Destiny, at least for this year, which is going to be based on Rose and Paige. But I want to hear what you guys thought about this week's releases. What did you think about Poe Dameron issue number 23, and what do you think about the potential future of the series, as well as are you enjoying the Forces of Destiny comics? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other Star Wars content that I release on a weekly basis. I just recently put up my reaction to the Star Wars Rebels Season 4 mid-season trailer, as well as my book review for Chewie and the Porgs, so you want to make sure you check those out. I'm Starrapter. I want to thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.